Good morning and welcome. Today, Junction Support Services is really proud to present and celebrate their annual report for 2023. My name is Steph Garoni and I will be your MC this morning. Along with our chairperson Neville and our CEO Megan and the 250 plus staff members joining us today and all the community champions also sitting here. We'd like to take some time to share and showcase the amazing work from the previous year across the Wodonga, Wangaratta and Shepparton communities and right through the Ovens and Murray and Goulburn regions. We'll hear from members of the Junction team about their programs, from our young people about how their lives have been impacted over the past year, and from our partners about how they have received such amazing support. And also from our wonderful keynote speaker, Mark Cox from the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence. Welcome, Mark. A special welcome also to Ron Mildren, Mayor of the City of Wodonga, to Uncle Dozer Atkinson from Mungabarina Aboriginal Corporation, and representatives from the Department of Justice, the Department of Education and Training, and the Department of Families, Fairness and Housing. Now, I would like to welcome Bangarang Elder, Uncle Dozer Atkinson, to deliver an acknowledgement of country.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll grab me ditch. It usually gives me a little bit of, support in when I'm standing up and talking to mobs. But firstly, I'd like to thank Junction for allowing me to be here at the AGM and perform an acknowledgement to country. I just want to say, out of respect, these type of events is really an opportunity for the traditional owners of country to come along and strengthen their role between support services and the traditional owners and the Aboriginal community that we work with. So Dudura Dargle are the traditional owners of this country, and I do want to pay my utmost respect to them and thank their spirits for allowing me to stand in front of you all today and deliver an acknowledgement to their country. As Stephanie said, my name's Uncle Dozer Atkinson. I was born and bred on Cumragunja Aboriginal Mission, which is on the river close to Echuca. And a lot of people think, gee, Uncle Dozer's a pretty strange name for someone to carry. But back in the 60s, I was the biggest Aboriginal baby brought onto the mission. I was a 14-pounder. And as you can still see today, but just an icebreaker. But yeah, it was unheard of in them days that for Aboriginal women to birth such a baby of size. So my nickname that all the elders gave me was Bulldozer. And by the time I turned 5 anyway, the bull was dropped and the dozer stuck all my life. So that's how I introduced myself. But I just wanted to say, I want to acknowledge first and pay my utmost respect to my elders from the past, and particularly our ancestors that faced full-blown atrocities during early days of colonisation and settlement. Where the northeast of Victoria, it suffered full-blown attacks on Aboriginal people in the forms of massacres. The massacres were quite common in the northeast, and a lot of our people were, had their lives taken beyond prying eyes. So I just want to pay my respects to them people of that day, because that was when the rock the rock of trauma was thrown into the Aboriginal pond of existence. And the ripple effect from that today, along with many other traumas that we've suffered, is what we deal with our youth today. They carry these traumas that can be traced right back to, to them sort of events. So I just want to pay my respect to them. I also want to extend that respect to our elders of today. Our elders of today, we're in a place or a space now where we are all willing to share our culture that's managed to survive and offer it to all Australians. We're on a journey to walk side by side, so all our grandkids can look at each other and be proud to call each other Aussies. And that's a journey that we all must take together. I want to extend that acknowledgement and that respect to our youth of today. Now, our youth today live in a world where social media is at hand, and the passing on of knowledge and culture has taken an old new way of sharing. So I want to acknowledge our youth today who still manage to stay strong in our culture and share our culture with the non-Indigenous people of our country and break down barriers that we know exist. So I just want to extend it to our youth. Now, I just want to, I just mentioned a little bit about, about the early days of the settlement of this country. If we're going to move forward and look forward, we must be able to look back. And I think we've got to be able to be in a position as all Australians where we can all look back together, and acknowledge. If we're going to acknowledge the country that we stand on, we must acknowledge the events that took place in this country. And then this country will, will give us what we need, to strengthen ourselves and to walk forward into a better future. So I just want to, just wanted to say that. But I want to thank Jess for, she's a trailblazer for Junction, along with many more that work in Junction Support, for for reaching out and providing the invitation to come along. I'm wearing a Mungab hat today, Mungabarina. My role at Mungabarina is I'm the senior cultural advisor there, and my role is to work with our children, the Aboriginal children that have been removed from the family setting and placed in other forms of care. So my role is to make sure that these children have cultural support plans that are relevant to their people and to their country. So it's very important that, and it's legislated, it's very important that we all get behind that legislation or behind the cultural support plans. So our children that grow up for many reasons in out-of-home care, they still have their full connection to their country, and they still have full connection to their families and their culture. So it's very important. I just wanted to echo something that my CEO has asked to say, that us at John Martin, who is our CEO, and he's very approachable. Please, if anyone and everybody, please approach John, because we are 100% keen to create a relationship, a very strong relationship and a meaningful relationship with Junction Support, because in Mungabarina we do hold the cultural knowledge, and we do hold a connection to community, and we do hold the connection to our country, which is very important for not only for the Aboriginal children we work with, but also the non-Indigenous children. So I won't take up much time. I love to yarn, and I better get moving along. But please, I'd like to finish my acknowledgement to this wonderful country with the sound of the ditch. I was already on. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for the opportunity to be here, and may you have a great AGM, and find strength in each other. So thank you very much.
It's a privilege to be meeting on country today, and a privilege too to listen to your powerful words, Uncle Dozer. So thank you so much for your heartfelt acknowledgement of country. I'd now like to call upon Junction founding member, former treasurer and current chairperson, and Junction legend for 34 years, Neville McCormick, to officially open the 2023 AGM.
Well, thanks, Dozer. That was fantastic.
I'm so sorry, I've got to get to another meeting. We're always busy. Thank you very much, I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Steph, for the introduction and taking on the role of MC today. Have we said that? And now I formally declare Junction Support Services Limited AGM for 2023 to be open. And I extend a special welcome to our guests joining us in person and then online, including our board directors, staff, volunteers, clients, stakeholders, supporters and corporate friends. As part of the formalities today, can I ask that the minutes of the AGM held on the 9th of December 2022 are confirmed as a true and correct record, please? Someone like to move those? Move Sandra, seconded. Noel, all in favour? It's carried. And I'm also pleased to present to you the annual report of Junction Support Services Limited. The annual report includes Junction's special purposes financial statements for the year ended the 30th of June 2023 and have been accepted by the Board of Directors. I confirm that the audited accounts represent a true and accurate picture of our organisation. This was moved by myself and seconded by Noel. Thanks, Noel. Thank you. I wish to advise that as endorsed through a special resolution on the 24th of June 2022, Johnson's MME will remain the auditor for the next 4 years. Sorry, I forgot to say that Vern Hilditch is an late apology. I've had a... Oh, there you go, just arrived. Thanks. I can confirm that the Board of Directors and Office Bearers for 2023 will remain the same. I'm pleased to be able to continue as chairperson for the next 12 months, with Sandra Dalton as Deputy Chair, Mary Ann Frankie as Secretary, and the Directors forming part of the Governance Board are Vern Hilditch, Cheryl Hodgins, Stephen Lesky, Noel Sargent, ably supported by Megan Hanley. And I look forward to working alongside this dedicated and passionate group. That concludes the formalities at Junction Support Services annual meeting. And before I hand over to our CEO for presentations, I would like to say a few words. I'd like to thank Susie for sending off the emails late yesterday and the troubles we had with Big Pond, but we got there. As we reflect on last year, I'm deeply honoured to be part of Junction Support Services Limited, especially the achievements and time frames that we have as a collective have delivered, such as the dedicated youth space, the youth foyer in Wodonga, expansion into the Gippsland region, just to name a few. These and other services will benefit communities and future generations for many years. Our new strategic plan that will be launched today will provide a blueprint to Junction Support Services with a direction over the next 5 years. On behalf of the Board, I extend our appreciation to all Junction Support staff, volunteers, and especially for their unwavering commitment to the communities here in the Northeast, Gippsland and Golden Valley. It is through the dedication that our organisation has delivered positive to many in our community. I would also like to take a moment to thank my fellow board members, Sandra Dalton, Mary Ann Frankie, Cheryl Hodgins, Vern Hilditch, Noel Sargent, and Steve Lesky, for their time, expertise and passion for social justice to Junction Support Services. Thank you, and now I'd like to welcome Megan to come for her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Neville, and thanks, Steph. Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for being here today, both virtually and in person, and as we gather here for our 2023 Annual General Meeting, marking 34 years of operation of Junction Support Services. It's truly a pleasure to see so many familiar faces and to welcome new members joining the Junction community. And I would also like to extend my welcome to our distinguished guests, board partners, supporters, and who continue to believe in the work and contribute so generously to our communities. Throughout the past year, our organisation has reached remarkable milestones in our advocacy efforts, particularly for youth and to our wider community. We have proudly raised awareness about the critical issues our community faces, engaging in meaningful dialogues with government officials, community leaders and other stakeholders. Our collective efforts have resulted in positive changes within the broader system and very tangible outcomes, such as our youth foyer for our region, both in Wangaratta and Wodonga, which you'll hear more about later from Mark, and also our dedicated youth space in the heart of Wodonga, which launched this year, which has been co-designed by our young youth advisory group, the YO 6390, ensuring that young people receive the support and environments they deserve to thrive and succeed. As a provider of therapeutic residential care, we are excited to note the Victorian Government's commitment within the budget to ensuring that 75% of all residential care homes within the state will become therapeutic by January 2025. This is a result of years of advocacy work and one in which we believe will improve the outcomes for many of our young people. We'll hear later today from Ruby a remarkable young person regarding her experience of residential care. I had the privilege of reconnecting with Ruby earlier this year, and we are proud to be part of her journey. I personally am inspired by Ruby and how she is not defined by her experience, but uses it to advocate and empower others. I can't wait for you to hear from her. In addition, I am enthused to announce that we have successfully expanded our services into new regions. By doing so, we've extended our support to even more young people, individuals and families. This expansion is driven by our commitment to meet the growing demand for our services and to make meaningful impact in communities beyond our original reach. We are immensely grateful for the support and partnership of local organisations and agencies that have welcomed us warmly into their communities. Furthermore, our team has shown tremendous innovation in the field of early intervention. By shifting our focus to preventative measures, we are now intervening at critical junctures to provide support before difficulties escalate. Through early intervention, we aim to reduce the need for crisis intervention down the line, ultimately improving outcomes for clients and the community as a whole. This approach epitomises our commitment to constantly evolve and improve our services. You'll hear more about this later on today in presentations about our young people and also in our work in the early help program. I would like to express my deepest appreciation for the unwavering dedication of our incredible staff members, many of which are here today. It is through your tireless efforts, dedication and expertise that Junction Support Services has been able to achieve all that we have. Their commitment to the individuals and families we work alongside is truly inspiring, and I am grateful beyond words for the significant contributions you make every day. I would also like to thank our board members who are sitting along the front here. Through your unwavering support, you have provided us with the resources, expertise and opportunities necessary to address the evolving needs of our community. Your collective expertise, diverse perspectives and your guidance for me as CEO has undoubtedly propelled us forward, instilling hope and a positive force for change. So thank you. In closing, today marks an important milestone in our journey. It is also a stepping stone to an even more impactful future. With our new strategic plan, advocacy successes, regional transitions, expanded programs and innovative approaches, I am confident that Junction will continue to transform lives and strengthen communities for years to come. This is, of course, will be guided by our 5-year strategic plan, which I now have the pleasure to launch. So, I think... Oh, I need to do that, do I? No? Yep, thank you. So our 5-year strategic plan will guide our organisation's growth and impact as we continue to work alongside our community over the next 5 years. The strategic plan is a culmination of a huge amount of work and includes client, staff, board and external stakeholder consultation. Through the process of developing this plan, we reflected on how Junction came to be as it is today and what was happening in the now and forecasted what we believe will happen into the future. We invite you all to imagine our future now with us. So we start with our organisation's purpose statement, which serves as a guiding star, a point of alignment for the actions and decisions of all of its members. It drives us towards a common goal. It provides clarity and direction, inspiring employees, stakeholders and clients by highlighting the organisation's larger mission and the positive impact it aims to create. With this in mind, it is with tremendous amount of enthusiasm and optimism that I present Junction's new purpose. We empower people to achieve a brighter future. In changing our purpose, we aim to be strength-based with a purpose which reflects the full breadth of services in which we deliver. We hope that this will inspire, guide and compel all who are associated with our organisation. We will use this purpose to guide all that we do in daily practices whilst achieving our strategic goals. Also a part of this process earlier in the year, we also redefined our values. These values of inclusion, diversity, integrity, innovation, collaboration and respect will guide us on how we want to complete the work set out within our strategic pillars. Our hope is that people will look at our values and want to be part of what we stand for as an organisation. So what you see now is our strategic pillars, and we defined 4 strategic pillars throughout our process, and these will be the guiding forces that guide the work that we will complete over the next 5 years. Each strategic pillar contains sub-pillars and actions with tangible outcomes to ensure that in 2028 we will have achieved our desired outcomes. With a renewed focus on innovation and sustainability, engaged people, a strong organisational identity and infrastructure underpinned by our values, this strategic plan positions us to address the evolving challenges and opportunities we may encounter over the next 5 years, while continuing to ensure the highest level of care and support to our communities. Our vision is that in the next 5 years and beyond, Junction will be building strong, thriving communities together. Our strategic plan identifies organisational identity as a key strategic pillar, and this means that our people and our stakeholders understand the how and why of what we do. It is about understanding our history and how we have come to be the organisation we are today. This document that you see here is for our people and stakeholders and outlines our how and why. Following this launch, this document will be available to all our stakeholders via our social media platforms. So please have a read, do a deep dive and get on board with our strategic direction. So just a quick look at some of our pillars, the 4 pillars that we have identified as through our strategic plan. And we wanted to have a look at what we would achieve by 2028 if we were to look down at us then. So Junction's first strategic pillar is innovation and sustainability. Under this pillar, we believe that in 2028, Junction will possess diverse funding streams, we will partner with numerous government departments, philanthropic agencies and corporate sponsors, allowing for innovation, for our innovative models being delivered and an increase in service offerings. We will continue to develop and then expand on our social enterprise business model, offering an avenue for Junction-led programs to be self-sufficient. Junction will ensure that all programs are evidence-informed and co-designed with the people we are working alongside. We will embrace purposeful collaboration by fostering open communication, building strong partnerships and actively seeking out suitable opportunities for collaboration. We will promote a sense of entrepreneurship within our 4 walls, ensuring a culture of innovation and continuous development of ideas. Our second strategic pillar is engaged people. I want to acknowledge the challenges that our organisation has faced over the past 3 years, with COVID, floods, exponential growth, the rising cost of living and the ever-increasing pressure and need for our services. As a comparison, this year, we saw about 1,000 more people than we did last year. And this without a doubt has had an impact on our people. Therefore, we would be remiss if we did not focus our investment on engaging our people over the next 5 years. So by 2028, Junction will support all of our staff through a dedicated wellbeing program, be operating with an embedded recruitment, learning and development framework, ensuring that we are promoting continuous growth and skill enhancement of our staff. Continually develop our managers through a dedicated capability framework. Be led by a community voice framework, ensuring meaningful engagement with community, and that is informing our work. We will be an employer of choice within all of the communities we work within. Our third strategic pillar is strong organisational presence, ensuring Junction has a strong community presence wherein it is known for its expertise. By 2028, Junction will be a strong presence and known within every community we work alongside. We'll be an organisation where all staff, volunteers and internal stakeholders uphold and practice in a way which is aligned with our purpose, vision and values, which we have launched today. Be informed, responsive to and guided by participant voices and experiences. And our fourth and final strategic pillar is infrastructure, probably the most pertinent and important to our staffing group right now. So by 2028, we will improve physical and intellectual infrastructure to generate a positive impact for clients, stakeholders and employees. We will ensure resourcing and systems result in operational excellence and efficiencies. We will be a leader in creating and offering inclusive working spaces. Ensure service excellence across all programs underpinned by evidence-informed approaches and ensuring therapeutic care is embedded in all service areas of Junction. Sorry. In conclusion, I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for your contribution to and support of our 5-year strategic plan. Today, we have laid the foundation for our future success and growth, setting forth a clear plan that aligns our goals, values, vision, and purpose. Our strategic plan is not merely a document. It represents a shared vision and purpose that will shape our decisions, guide our actions, and propel us towards even greater achievements. I am confident that with your collective dedication and resilience, we will navigate the challenges that lie ahead, seize the opportunities that arise, and realise the full potential of our organisation. Together, let us move ahead into this exciting new chapter, united in our pursuit of excellence and driven by an unyielding determination to make a positive impact in the lives of those we work alongside. Thank you once again for your unwavering belief and for your continued support as we build strong, thriving communities together. Thanks, everyone. I think I'm handing back to Steph. Thanks, Steph.
Thank you so much, Megan, Neville, and the board for your really strong leadership throughout the year. And those 4 strategic pillars are certainly going to position you really well and scaffold your work going forward into the next 5 years. So thank you. I'm inspired. I'm jumping ship. I work at La Trobe University as an educator there, so I'm passionate about partnerships, and we have worked really closely with Junction Support Services over the years, particularly with my girl Cassie. I'm a fangirl of Cassie. And another great colleague here of the Trobes is Vern Hilditch. So yeah, excellent, thank you. So now I'd like to introduce Junction Chief Operating Officer, Michelle Fell, to share the work that's been done through this past year with our young people to create pathways and support so they can transition to being independent and confident members of our communities. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Steph. I'm honoured to stand here today to present a summary of the outstanding work that we have accomplished in partnership with the young people over the past year. In this, our commitment to advocating, supporting and empowering and working alongside the young people has remained unwavering. Through collaborative partnerships and tireless efforts, we have made significant strides in addressing the diverse needs of the young people in our community. The multifaceted programs and initiatives that have been implemented create transformative opportunities, fostering personal growth and resilience and a sense of belonging for the young people. So we're going to go through a bit of a PowerPoint or slideshow of a range of the projects that we've been working on over the last 12 months. Junction is invested in imagining bright futures for the young people we support. Junction drives a range of youth-focused programs and initiatives designed to provide earlier intervention, education opportunities and pathways to independence. 2 years ago, Junction purchased a building in the heart of Wodonga that would later become Wodonga's first use space, Windbreak 3690. This came to be as a result of significant and ongoing feedback from young people that this was missing in our community. Guided by the Youth Advisory Group, Youth of 3690, the space now offers young people a place they can connect with each other 2 evenings a week where activities are held and meals are cooked. In September 2023, Windbreak 3690 hosted 2 days of activities to celebrate Youth Fest with wellbeing workshops, outdoor games, talent showcases, painting of a community mural, and this was along with 190 young people attending. In February 2023, Junction, together with Beyond Housing and Wodonga TAFE, came together to announce the funding of Wodonga's Education First Youth Foyer by the Victorian Government. Alongside these partners, Junction has strongly advocated to bring this life-changing initiative to the local area to support local young people. The Youth Foyer will provide 40 young people aged 16 to 24 with supported housing, access to education, employment, training and a suite of other supports and opportunities to build secure and sustainable livelihoods. Over the past 4 years, Junction, in partnership with our local consortium, has strongly advocated for earlier intervention support for young people in Wodonga who are at risk of homelessness or early school leaving. Junction and the local consortium are excited to announce that the continual advocacy for this essential system change has resulted in securing philanthropic seed funding. This means, in 2024, the Wodonga project will commence providing support to young people in Year 10 and 11 at Wodonga Senior Secondary College. This will see us bringing together mental health and housing supports, youth specialists, council and other services to identify and act early to support local young people before a crisis occurs. Junction is a committed and passionate regional community service provider who acknowledges each region possesses unique characteristics and needs. For this reason, Junction embraces a place-based approach when supporting members of each regional community. This year, Junction was invited to move to regional Gippsland and commence caring for young people in residential care. With over 20 years' experience providing residential care in Ovens and Murray, the organisation was excited to make this move and form part of the community, develop partnerships with local key stakeholders and identify local needs. Junction worked closely with the local providers to transition numerous residential care houses and welcomed many young people into our homes. 12 months ago, Junction partnered with YACVIC and 14 partner agencies across North East Victoria and Gippsland to deliver Futureproof. Futureproof is a program which supports young people to engage in upskilling opportunities and employment pathways to aid their communities in bushfire and disaster responses that may arise in the future. This place-based program supports youth-led recovery projects and community decision-making. Young people take active roles in bushfire and disaster recovery, preparedness, response, and community resilience building. Junction have engaged a youth advisory group and have created training and workshop opportunities for young people, including the recent demonstration day, where young people had hands-on experience putting out fires, working at heights with first aid, and navigating low visibility situations. As the area's largest provider of youth homelessness services, Junction identified that young people leaving care were constantly faced with the challenge of securing safe and stable accommodation. This has only been exacerbated over the past few years due to the continuing housing crisis. Junction purchased a block of 2-bedroom units, which had 3 units on the block in central Wodonga, and set about refurbishing them. These units are now a vital resource to house young people transitioning from Junction's out-of-home care programs. The units offer stable housing to young people whose options are often limited in the very competitive private rental market. Since opening in 2023, Junction have been able to offer housing to 4 young people to live independently. Exiting the out-of-home care system can be a challenging time for young people as they transition into adulthood. Diverse pathways that cater to each young person exiting out-of-home care is crucial in ensuring that they have safe and stable arrangements. In partnership with the Department of Family, Fairness and Housing, Junction is committed to further increasing the options available for our local young people, focusing on education, employment, housing support, health and wellbeing and social inclusion. As part of this commitment, both parties are working together to develop the Stepping Stones model, which is a supported housing option. We are hopeful that the Stepping Stones model will be available to young people in our community in 2024, providing further options as they leave out-of-home care. All young people should be afforded opportunities that allow them to thrive. Junction's work is and will always be client-centred, and we will continue to identify gaps, generate innovation, and value the voices and needs of young people within our community. In reimagining our future, we will draw from place-based expertise and lived experience to support young people, their families, and the community to achieve their full potential and a brighter future.
I'm immensely proud of the collective achievements we have accomplished in collaboration with our dedicated staff and the broader community. Together, we've made a profound impact, transforming the lives of countless young people and paving the way for a brighter future. Now I'm going to hand back to Stephanie. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. What a massive year you've had working with young people in our communities. And after today, we're heading over to Windbreak 360 for a coffee and some light refreshments, so that will be fun to see. It's such an iconic Wodonga building, the old Cafe Grove building, and it's so exciting that young people are able to make really great use of it and build it into a really exciting space for our Wodonga community. So now I'm going to call upon Megan Pearce, Junction's Family Services Team Manager, and she's going to share with us about how Junction is making a real difference with family services and programs, including early help. As an educator, I'm really passionate about early intervention, and the evidence out there is overwhelmingly in support of supporting families and young people early on to improve their chances in life. and their outcomes. So really looking forward to hearing what you've been doing in this space. Megan. Oh, there. Sorry, Megan.
Thanks, Steph. Hi, everyone. So I'm Megan Pearce. I'm the Family Services Team Manager. So in May 2022, Junction was successful in receiving funding to deliver the Early Help program across the Ovens-Murray region. We worked tirelessly through program design and implementation through to service delivery to support 186 families in the last financial year. We partnered with the Australian Childhood Foundation, Melrose Primary School, Wodonga West Primary School, and other universal services to make the program as accessible as possible for as many families as possible. Our funding to deliver the program was extended for 12 months, so we are able to continue to offer this valuable service to communities in our region. There are no better people to talk about the program than the Early Help team themselves, so I'm going to let you hear from them directly. Please feel free to come and have a chat to me after the presentation if you have any questions.
Early Help is an early intervention program providing support for vulnerable families.
Children between the ages of 0 to 12.
If there is an older sibling above the age of 12 in the home, we do include them.
So we work with families from Wodonga, Wangaratta, Benalla,
Kandanda, Chiltern, Beechworth, the whole Ovens-Murray region.
Families with kids who they're struggling to understand their behaviour or where the behaviour is coming from. They may be wanting to upskill in their parenting and build on their parenting knowledge.
We receive a lot of referrals from kindergartens and local schools.
Maternal child health, early learning centres, childcare centres.
Families themselves, they can self-refer to Early Help. The different roles in the Early Help team are a family coach, we have a family counsellor and a brief intervention specialist.
My role is very much based on building the attachment and connection within the family and within the relationships of those family members and really upskilling the parents.
We also offer group work and that can look very different, whether that's play groups, mothers groups, bringing up great kids, Thrive, which is a therapeutic mothers group.
The Common Approach Framework is our underlying guiding framework in all of our work. It includes the basic principles that we use to work with our families and to guide our work.
The Nest is a model of care that sits within the Common Approach Framework. This is centred around 6 domains of the child's wellbeing.
Being valued, safe and loved, having material basics, being healthy, learning, participating and identity and culture.
Partner organisations that we work with are Melrose Primary School and Wodonga West Primary School. We also work in partnership with other universal services and other schools within our community.
Whether that's the family coaches working within the schools or collaborating externally.
When they do identify a theme or an emerging need within their school students, they can contact us and then we can tailor a group work program to identify and address that need.
When we've got families that don't have, I guess, the capacity or have got mental health problems or a low socioeconomic, those barriers are just emphasised more and more. So what Early Help does is it allows someone at the end of the phone to help guide them through. And we've found in the support to the families has been really that wraparound nurturing approach. It's not that top-down that sometimes you get from agencies. Families have responded well to it because they can articulate what their goals are or what they need, and Early Help's been able to provide that at point of need, not just throwing a generic service at them and saying we've got 10 hours. They're saying, listen, what would help me right now is counselling for my child, but I can't access it. So the family coach makes that their priority and they get it.
If I could speak about it at a micro level, I would say things like, obviously there's the family coaching that happens, but also access to resources. One example is Sonia was able to access a dining room table for a family, which then allowed them to sit around the table together for the first time and have a meal together and share stories about their day. And you can't underestimate how much those things make that possible in a family. If you think about them sitting on the floor or at the couch, it's just not the same as sitting around a dinner table together. So things like that have been amazing, and the feedback from families has been that it's just been such an incredible support, both emotionally and financially.
The benefit of having these partnerships is to make it accessible for families. So Rather than coming into Junction, we can meet with them at school, local libraries, things like that, just to make them more comfortable, I guess, and makes us more approachable, I think.
In practice, it's been really effective. We'll discuss what, a student needs or that family's having particular trouble with at the time. The biggest thing for us is that the early help referrals go through really quickly. We're not just in limbo. And then Sonia's able to come back to us and liaise with the family coach that's been assigned to the family, and then let us know, what referral pathway has been taken or what, intervention's been put in place. And we find that the turnaround and the pickup's been really fast, and it's been enormous for our families, and the support for the school's been really, really good. Yeah.
Some of the outcomes that we see in families is increased confidence among parents, better collaboration between mum and dad in responding to challenging behaviours. Building on parent confidence, communication within the family unit, and we aim to support these families with their emerging vulnerabilities before they become so big that there's a need for intensive service involvement.
The biggest problem I have with accessing services and agencies outside of the school is that they don't understand the context and what we do day to day. Whereas Sonia knows firsthand, she gets it. It definitely strengthens the partnership between home and school because we're offering them a real pathway for support. Our kids are thriving because of it. Staff are as well. As a leadership team, we definitely feel we've got that extra layer of support, that extra tool in the toolbox, where we can say, I don't know what's happening with this kid, with this family. Then early help at a lot of the time has been that program that's been able to come in and just be that extra, that one needed step that we need. So it's very positive. Yeah.
I don't even know how to put it in words because it's just been amazing to have that available. And if it wasn't available, if it was taken away now, I don't know what we'd do.
Thanks, Megan. And what an amazing team. Congratulations on all your work in 2023. And thank you so much for making such a difference in this really important space. So, we are so lucky to have Mark Cox with us today as our keynote speaker. Thanks, Mark. Mark is the practice lead for the Youth Transitions team at the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence. With a professional background in international community development and public health, he's previously worked at Kangan Institute First Youth Foyer, one of the first Australian services to use the advantage thinking approach for young people with a background of homelessness. Given our Wodonga Youth Foyer is in the early stages, it's so very timely, Mark, that we can get to hear from you as you share your experiences of being involved in this work. So thank you so much and welcome.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for that lovely welcome. And thanks so much for the invitation to join this very special day for Junction and your organisation. It's been so lovely sitting here sharing in this wonderful showcase of your work. And I think AGMs are that beautiful opportunity where you get to take stock and celebrate your wonderful people. It's been lovely hearing about these programs, but it's also exciting to look forward to some new initiatives. And that's what I have the privilege of being able to talk to you about today, because as you've seen referenced in a few different slides already, you've got something really exciting in the works here in Wodonga. And I'm already excited, even though it's a little bit far off. We can start to build the excitement around what's coming, which is an Education First Youth Foyer. And as you heard through the introduction, I've had the real pleasure of being able to work with Education First Youth Foyer models for the last decade or so. I'm going to talk today a bit about what you have in store, what's coming to Wodonga very, very soon, and the importance that this plays in terms of supporting your young people locally, but also, as we've spoken about today, really hitting the mark around that early intervention piece, which we know is so important in diverting young people from paths that might lead to system dependence, that might lead to some of those things that we don't necessarily want to deal with down the track. And I think your youth foyer will just fit so nicely into your wonderful suite of programs, some of which have been showcased today. And I'm here on behalf of the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence. The Education First Youth Foyer model was developed by the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence about 15 years ago now. And it's funny how things work. We started off with 3 Education First Youth Foyers. We're actually celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Glen Waverley Education First Youth Foyer down in Melbourne next month. That was the first foyer off the ranks. It then led to 2 more, one in Broadmeadows in Melbourne and a third in Shepparton, which opened in 2016. Then we went a bit quiet for a while, and it wasn't until just last year when an opportunity around funding was led by Homes Victoria, the Victorian government, came online and offered some new funding for foyers or youth housing in Victoria. And Wodonga was one of those very lucky communities that was selected to host and offer what will be the 4th and 5th. We heard earlier that Wangaratta was also successful in their bid to run an Education First Youth Foyer. So, I mean, the northeast of Victoria, how lucky are you to have 2 new wonderful sites that will be supporting your young people locally. But what is an Education First Youth Foyer? Well, I'm delighted, given the Brotherhood were able to come up with this model. We don't run any of the foyers, I'll say that first and foremost. Although I used to work as a youth worker based at one of those foyers, I was working for Launch Housing at that time, and they delivered the 2 Melbourne-based foyers, and we have Berry Street that deliver the foyer in Shepparton. Nisei in Wangaratta will deliver the Education First Youth Foyer there. And yourselves, as Junction, in partnership with Wodonga TAFE, with Beyond Housing and ourselves, as your service development partner with the Education First Youth Foyer here, we'll be working together to offer that support to young people. A foyer is an integrated accommodation setting. It's a beautiful, wonderful, purpose-built facility that you'll have, and we're very lucky to our partners at Wodonga TAFE who have given up the land to be able to build a beautiful, purpose-built facility. And I'll give you a sneak preview of what it might look like at the end of the presentation. 40 young people will be living on site, and we'll be referring to them as students because they'll be living on campus at Wodonga TAFE. Some of them will be going to the TAFE, some of them will be going to local high schools, secondary schools, some might be attached to university as well, which is incredibly exciting. And the reason we prioritise co-location with the TAFE and prioritise this idea of education first youth foyers is out of recognition of the fact that decades of research in terms of working with young people is that education, training, pathways to employment is the most important protective factor against future homelessness. So we'll be welcoming at any one time 40 young people at the Education First Youth Foyer who'll be set up with a beautiful purpose-built apartment, a communal area, an incredibly state-of-the-art facility co-located on the Wodonga TAFE land with maybe some e-bikes for them to travel in nicely into town. It's a couple of kilometres away out there, but they'll have access to everything that they need and to be able to continue their education and their training, employment and other goals as well. There'll be 24/7 staff on site. Junction will be there as youth coaches there to support young people and set up and work with the goals, and that strength-based framework that we talked about earlier will be something that will be really activated under the roof of the foyer. It's a 2-year program, so this is a kind of a medium term, but it's also transitional. This isn't just housing that is cheap rent for young people living here in Wodonga. Our goal for the foyer is that young people will transition into hopefully private rental and other opportunities locally. That's our highest bar and our goal. And what we know from the other 3 foyers at the moment and the 120 or so living there at any one time is that most young people do transition into that situation, having achieved their education, training and employment goals. We'll be supporting them to achieve that. And we know with the difficulties around the rental market at the moment, that's going to be a huge challenge for us, but we're up for that. And we'll be investing all of our time and our resources and our energy to ensure those really positive outcomes are reached. They sign up to what's called a deal. This isn't just accommodation for accommodation's sake. See this as a mutual investment in ourselves as Junction, investing in our young people, but we'll be equally asking them to reinvest back into this program as well. Obviously not financially, but in terms of their commitment. We'll be encouraging them to take up this deal and invest in 6 different aspects of their life, key domains that we know are going to progress them towards their goal. And in exchange, we'll be offering that wonderful coaching support in order for them to reach that. And all of this is framed around what we call an advantaged thinking approach. And this is about seeing and understanding our young people as skilled, as talented. We'll be working with them in a way that supports them to thrive in our community, not just cope with the problems and challenges that they perceivably have. And this is a real reaction to what we typically see in our sector, and it's so beautiful. I think there's such natural alignment with the way that Junction likes to work with young people in focusing on those strengths and connections for them to live lives beyond service systems. That's our ultimate goal, and the foyer, once again, will complement that real pathway to independence for your young people here in Wodonga and beyond. This is a little bit about what the foyer will look like. And these are some of our young people that are currently living at foyers at the moment, and I guess what the foyer means to them. It's a beautiful building. Junction staff, I'm sure you're all going to be elbowing each other out of the way in order to work at the foyer. I've been a youth worker there myself, and it's been the best job that I've ever had in the sector. But I think what it will also provide is a bit of a value add to your wider programs as well, better futures, even your family support. There'll be such natural synergy for you as Junction to really add value to your existing suite of youth programs and a beautiful new facilities for you all to be stopping by, working out of, meeting the young people there and engaging them in as you do, in encouraging, them to shape the solutions that are going to affect them. I want to put a call out to yourselves in the room and yourselves online to really consider, I guess, no program itself is going to be able to, of course, end homelessness or connect young people with all that they need to in order to thrive in their lives. The programs that we have, and the foyer will be an example of a 2-year program, that is a window of opportunity where we'll certainly be investing our time and energy in getting the best outcomes through that. But it is reliant, and it will be need to be supported by the wider community, obviously here in Wodonga, that sits around the foyer. So these domains that we'll be focusing on and working on with young people, we want to encourage and put a call out to the local community for you to consider how you might like to add value to the foyer through mentoring, through providing resources, through being part of foyer life day to day and contributing all of your wonderful skills and talents and meeting young people with their skills and talents as well. This is something that will not be closed off to the community. This is a program that will really require all of us to really step up and invest in the young people there, which is an exciting thing to look forward to. I've got a slide here that calls out those wonderful partners that will all be part of what this foyer will look like day to day. And I have to say, one of the last times I was in Wodonga was actually in meeting a lot of these partners where the foyer about 5 years ago was just an idea and a concept. And I know that we have people from the local council here today. It was actually at the council offices where I had the opportunity to come up and present on what a foyer was. This is going back, pre-COVID, so 5 or so years ago now. At the time, the council was launching its youth strategy and had this idea of wanting to reduce homelessness or vulnerability in this region and thought foyer might be a good idea. In that room on that day, we had TAFE involved, we had Junction, we had a few other players in the local community. And I can tell you what, from that very presentation, from the energy that existed in that room, you as a community had run with this opportunity. It was truly a grass-led initiative, and 5 years later, an opportunity around funding comes along. You were ready to go. There's a business case that was created to put forward this initiative to government, and government have now recognised this community effort, recognised the skills and the consortia partners here as being able to offer this wonderful offer to young people here in Wodonga. We'll all be playing a slightly different role. Yourselves as Junction will be doing the bulk of that work around that coaching and goal-supported work with young people. Beyond Housing will be supporting the tenancy management and the building itself. Wodonga TAFE not just the landlord, they'll be there delivering what's called a Certificate 1 in Developing Independence with every single young people that comes through. This is a mandatory part of that deal that they sign up to, and it's a whole life and living skills program that a young person engages with. It sets up a future education pathway for them if perhaps school hasn't worked for them in the past, or perhaps there's been some challenges in maintaining that education. The TAFE and the education providers will support that pathway and that career journey that a young person might like to be put back on. For ourselves, as the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence, we're delighted to partner with you, and we facilitate what's called a community of practice with all providers of Education First Youth Foyer in the state. Currently, we're a group of 3, and we're just so excited in the next couple of years to scale that up to a group of 5. I'll be with you as part of that journey, and I am just so incredibly excited for what this will become. We know from the last 10 or so years where hundreds of young people have moved through a Youth Foyer program that the outcomes have been incredible. And those outcomes in terms of retaining and achieving education, employment, with more than half of our young people transitioning into that private rental situation, we've seen that we've been able to make a massive dent in reducing youth homelessness through a program like this. And to think that there will soon be 5 youth foyers, each with 40 young people, that is a huge footprint that we're making here in Victoria, and hopefully it won't be the end of the expansion of Education First Youth Foyers in the future. By way of finishing, and I'll hand back in a moment, I just want to once again congratulate you on being successful in this initiative. We have so much to look forward to here in Wodonga, and I really hope that through the wonderful leadership of Junction, that the Youth Foyer becomes yet another Junction program that the community here in Wodonga and the region can feel really proud of being a part of. So wishing you the best of luck. You'll be able to visually see that youth foyer being built. I think they're ready to break ground any moment now. You'll be able to, over the next year or so, you know what these things are like, drive past that and see that become a reality before your eyes. And it won't be too long until you'll be able to move in and start working with those wonderful young people. Looking forward to journeying on that with you, and wishing you the best of luck for the rest of your AGM here today. Thanks for having me stop by.
Thanks so much, Mark. We're excited. Looking back and now looking forward, we're up for it. I have a sore neck from nodding and a sore mouth from smiling at you. It's just a really exciting chapter to be involved in going forward, and can't wait to be involved in the Youth Foyer. So, I've been really looking forward to this too, like Megan. We're going to hear from our next very special guest, Ruby. She's going to chat to us now about her story in residential care housing with the help of Junction manager Annie Shirley. So thanks, Ruby and Annie.
Okay, hi Ruby.
Hi.
Thanks for being with us here today for Junction's annual general meeting. We'd love to hear your story. You're familiar with Junction's work, yeah, which I'll ask about shortly, but tell us, what are you doing now?
So I am studying a Bachelor of Communications, majoring in journalism at Deakin University, and I'm also an advocate for young people in out-of-home care, as I want to give back to my experience. I want to help young people, but I also volunteer with different organisations, and I do a lot of youth camps, and I have even volunteered on a program called Youth Press Gallery, helping young aspiring journalists write articles and get published.
Incredible. You seem like a very busy and focused young woman. We're very proud. Okay, so we know where you're heading. We'd really love to hear your journey. Where have you come from, Ruby?
So I have experience in out-of-home care since the age of 6, in and out. At the age of 16, I went into residential care and I lived in 3 homes, 2 of being with Junction. And it was hard. It was honestly something I had to get use of and had to navigate my way through the most pinnacle moments of my life. I was a teenager trying to learn how to be in life while in out-of-home care. I dropped out of school actually halfway through living in out-of-home care, and I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not going to go back. But it was thanks to the support I got with the workers at Junction that I actually got back into schooling. I went to TAFE, then I graduated, and now I'm in uni.
Well done, Ruby. I'm just going to make an off-the-cuff comment. When Ruby and I were chatting in preparation for today, she made a comment, and it sat with me, and it still sits with me today, is that she's the only young person she knows who's been in residential care who's attending uni. So that's incredibly inspiring, Ruby. Okay, so you touched on the support you had with Junction and the staff. You know, we've talked about that a fair bit. We're very excited, as Megan mentioned earlier, to know now that Victoria is committed to providing therapeutic care for all young people and children in the out-of-home care system across the next 3 years. What sort of difference do you think this would make? You know, if you had a magic wand, you know, what would you use it for?
I think the therapeutic care is going to make such a difference for young people. I would have loved to have been a part of that and been in care while that was happening, because I feel like it would have benefited me. I think that everyone in out-of-home care deserves a chance to feel safe, feel at home, and feel like they belong. I think it's one of those things where it's like for whatever reason, we're taken out of our family's care and we feel lost. It's no secret. We feel lost. We feel like there's nowhere that we're going to go. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, but there is. And I think that with therapeutic care, that will be such a major difference that young people are going to be able to have. And I think that the support from Junction support workers and just workers in general is going to be so pinnacle that young people are going to be able to, they're going to be able to go to university if they want to. They're going to be able to move to Melbourne, of all places, if they want to. They're going to be able to do whatever they want because it's right there. They have that chance and they have the support to thrive.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Okay, so Ruby, I'm going to ask you one last question. We've got a room full of people interested on improving outcomes for children and young people. What advice would you give to carers or anyone listening here today?
Be patient. I think the one thing is that, like, I think back to when I was 16 in care, I was awful. I'm sorry, but I was. I was someone who didn't know where I was going to be. I dropped out of high school because I couldn't handle I was getting bullied for being in out-of-home care. And I thought I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where I belonged. So I just dropped out and I made wrong choices. But looking back, I don't regret it. But I'm thankful that the support I got from the workers that I had, they supported me and they guided me and they didn't give up just because I made a couple of bad mistakes. They saw me for something that, not what I was doing, but for what I could be. And I am so inspired by them that I even got into volunteering. I got into youth work. I got into journalism, which I never thought I was going to do. Like, I wanted to do engineering before, but like now journalism is like, it's everything. I'm able to tell a story with words to help those in need, and I want to use my journalism to help for the better, and I wouldn't have had that if I didn't have support. So just be patient and support those young people that let them know that they can do anything, and if they work for it and if they thrive for it, they can do it. And I think that's the message that we need to give young people.
Wow, well, you're one of those incredible young people, Ruby, and we're very proud to have you here today. So let's come together and thank Ruby for her presentation today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ruby and Annie. Annie's taking up today's show hosting in the near future. And Ruby, you can do a tour. What a great, wonderful, strong voice you are and an advocate for young people. So thanks so much for sharing your story with us, and all the best for your studies at Dirty Old Deacon. Come do a postgrad with us at La Trobe when you're done. And how lucky are we in our community to have such wonderful supports for you and such great team members and such great workers that can care for you and be kind to you and be patient with you. Oh, yeah, wonderful. Thank you. So we're coming to the end of our AGM. This is the best AGM I've ever been at. And I'd like to now invite Rihanna, who is the General Manager of Client Services, to have a quick word about the Christmas drive coming up.
becoming my thing at the AGM. This is the second one I've been at and the second time I've delivered this speech. I'm just going to move this down a little bit because I'm a bit short. It would be remiss of us not to take the chance of having so many people in a room to remind everyone of Junction's Christmas toy drive. It's fast approaching that time of the year again when we gear up for the holiday season filled with joy and festivities. But as we all know, some families and children, the holiday season can be challenging as they struggle to access basic necessities that we can often take for granted. This is where we have an opportunity to come together and make a real difference in the lives of those who need it most. Today, I'm here to encourage you to support Junction's Christmas toy drive for people within our local community that might be in need. Your support would not only bring joy and hope to children who often go without, but also demonstrate the kindness and generosity that embodies the true spirit of the holiday season. We've seen firsthand that times are difficult for many families in our community, especially in light of the current cost of living crisis. Our toy drive provides an opportunity for us to show compassion and support to our community members who may be feeling or experiencing financial hardship or other challenges. Last year, I was proud to see that Junction's Christmas toy drive provided gifts to over 180 families and 330 individual young people within the community, which is amazing. It's a huge impact on so many. We would appreciate your help in furthering this cause throughout the community. Donations of new unwrapped presents can be made to the following locations: the Clinic in South Street, Wodonga, PT Fitness in Chisholm Court, Wodonga, HB Collective in Dekiraloo Drive, Wodonga, RSM in David Street, Albury, Camera House in Dean Street, Albury, or at Junction's main office in Melbourne Road. Alternatively, people can make a financial donation, and that's just via the Junction Services website. And then the Junction team will purchase an age-appropriate gift for someone. I guess my final message is I urge you to support the Christmas toy drive for people in our local community this year. If you can't make a donation, even just a share on Facebook or a word in some friendly donors' ears would be really appreciated. Let's come together and spread joy, love and kindness to those who need it most. Your contribution may be small, but its impact can be enormous. Thank you. So you clap, that's great, thank you, well done. I guess while we're talking about thank yous and giving out gifts, we've got a few people that we would like to thank for their time today. Steph, you've been very gracious with your time, and we so appreciate you emceeing for us. So Annie's got a beautiful bouquet of flowers for you to thank you. We would also really like to thank Mark for his time. He is a very, very busy man. I've seen him firsthand in action at one of the education first youth foyers in Broadmeadows, so we really value your time. Thank you so much for coming today. And I'm sure no one will be offended if I say the star of our show today. Ruby, we really appreciate your time. You made the trip down from Melbourne, and thank you so much for giving us your insights. We appreciate it. Thank you. I'll hand back to Steph to wrap everything up. Thanks.
Thanks, Rihanna. Well, sad times, we're nearly done. Thank you all so much for your presence here today, and thanks to all the wonderful speakers and presenters, and congratulations to you all for a wonderful 2023. We really look forward to what 2024 will now bring to those in our community who need it the most. The programs and services that continue to grow and make a difference towards these brighter futures, building strong, thriving communities together. So now we warmly invite you to pop across the road for a light lunch and some refreshments in our new youth space, Windbreak 360. And I now declare the 2023 AGM closed.